Everybody has their own perspective of Oakland, but this is how I grew up in East Oakland, California. I was the mixed kid growing up in Oakland who went through a bunch of roadblocks. I was told from a young age, either you're going to play sports or get caught up in the streets, or you're going to be a garbage man. Which one was it? Feels weird talking about this. I haven't talked about this in years. So I'm the third Bernard in my dad's family. That's where the name Nardi came from. She say Bernard, so it's like two of us there, so they named me Nardi. My mom and my dad was high school sweethearts. They was together for 10 plus years. My dad's side was pretty big. I didn't really get to know too much of my dad's side. My mom's side was very small. I mean, I only had aunties that I knew of and very few cousins that I hardly ever talked to. My grandma on my mom's side, she passed away from cancer, and my other grandma, she passed when I was very young. My aunties on my mom's side, they got caught up in drugs. I didn't really get to see them too much, or my mom's dad, he also was an alcoholic, so I didn't really get to see my grandpa too much. Later on, we moved to 26th Avenue. The Atkins family, they got me into playing sports. My dad wanted me to play baseball. I wasn't really that good at baseball. I didn't really like it, so.
Oh yeah, we was ultra competitive. It's crazy thinking about how we did it because what we do is play baseball or play football, but we'll play against different blocks in the neighborhood, and it'll be like, I remember we had like championships and playoffs and stuff like that. People was crying and shit like when people lose. Like I know I don't know if you remember, but I broke my arm. We were playing something. I don't even know we were playing football or baseball. We was playing some game, and I broke my arm and like. I got a cast, and then the next day I'm still playing back out. Like we took it serious, and that honestly probably, looking back on it, that's probably what got me to the game of football and loving it so much. Because when I play football, it's not just like the sport. It kind of takes me back to my neighborhood and playing and all that. It's that one house, it's that one area where you just don't go to, and we always made little stories like, oh, he's gonna come out and do this if we hit the window, or we heard his dog ate somebody, or he shot somebody with a shotgun. And so I remember when we broke his window, we all ran and we hid in the car. The people from our neighborhood, some of them went around the corner, some of them went in the house and hid. I lied and act like I was never there, and it was crazy because we came out and he yelled, of course, but none of the stuff that we thought would happen actually happened.
Ducky was like a mentor to me. Couple years into living in 26th Avenue, my dad had a bad alcohol problem. I remember an argument my mom and my dad had. My dad got caught cheating or whatever. We went down to 66th Avenue in Oakland. My mom confronted him. It was late night. He was drinking. I remember I was on the stairs and my dad's friends was there. My dad pushed my mom against the fence. I don't know if he hit her. I don't know what happened, but later on, the next morning, my dad and my mom had a big old argument. When that argument happened, an argument saying, "Oh well, I'll take the boy. My mom will take my sister." So me and my dad, we packed up my stuff, and then me and my dad was living in the car for like 2 or 3 days. And I was like probably like 7 when this happened. I kept crying and telling my dad I want to go home, back to 26 with my mom. And then he dropped me off, and I didn't see him for like the next, I'm gonna say 5 years or so. I haven't heard from him since.
During summertime, we'll like have those fire hydrants pop up the water, and then we'll go, play in the water and stuff on the streets. And I lived on the 25th.
And what made it crazy is I'm so little. I'm youngest out of everybody in the neighborhood, pretty much. And so I would try to do what everybody else do, because they would run through the fire hose while I was blowing. Except for it'll blow me and I would get hit and run. It'd knock me off my feet. I won't say damn near, it would. It'd definitely knock me off my feet if I got too close. And or I would slip and bust my ass trying to do it, trying to be like everybody else and do it. But that was probably, it was fun. I know it's for sure illegal, because definitely after that, you'll see the police and the fire department come and try to like clean up the mess. And, you know, but luckily everybody was safe and nobody really got hurt from doing that.
So I met Bernard in 6th grade about 21 years ago, and it was in Mr. Crumb's class. And he was also very quiet the whole time I've met him and during our education. However, there was always a very goofy part of him, and he would always, for some reason, sit behind me in class. And most of the time he would be asleep, or he would be kind of more of an observer than a participant in class. But we always knew he was there when he was there.
I was playing baseball, football, and then my dad came back into the picture and he got married. While my dad got married from his first wife, my mom found love, and then she ended up having 2 kids by my stepdad, Derek. My dad ended up getting married to Frenchette. My stepmom, she had 2 boys, and we were stepbrothers through marriage. And I remember the first day that I met Monte. I was over at his house, and I was in the bathroom, and I remember him saying, like, he said something about my mom or my dad. I forgot what it was. It was so long ago. And then I walked up to him, and I took off on him 3 times.
I went to wilding on his ass. What?
And then he hit me once in my chest. He said it didn't hurt him, but I guess he didn't want to admit it because I was a younger brother. Michael, my stepbrother, claimed me a little bit more than what Monte did. I think ever since that happened with me and Monte, it was always tension between me and Monte.
Bernard's one of those sneaky ones where where he'll be quiet, but then, you know, once he gets to know you, man, can keep his mouth shut. But he's a cool dude, you know, just calm and collect. One thing about Bernard is he's really observant. You know, he picks his friends wisely, and, you know, he observes their actions, who they are, their character. Then once he feels as though he can actually relate to them and get to know them, you know, he's an open book, and he's all about taking care of his friends and family too. So, you know, he's truly a great friend.
And I remembered the teachers would always call his name from attendance row sheet. And we noticed he had like the longest last name ever with like the 3rd. And I've never heard of that before. So I came up with kind of the nickname of Bernard Hutchison III, saying it every time I saw him. And a lot of my friends kind of grown to that nickname and also called him that. And it's always been one of those kind of pet names that I've given him growing up. And I don't know if he actually liked it or not, but it was something that I thought was really funny.
When me and Monte was around a group of people asked, like, oh, who's that Mexican kid? He was like, oh, that's my stepdad's son, but through marriage. He would never say, like, that's my brother. Or this happened, like, around Pee Wee Football League. That's when me and Brian was on the same team. Fast forward, I ended up going to high school at Fremont High, where I met a lot of good people at. I was in the 9th grade, Ducky was in 11th grade, and so that's when I started meeting more people. Ducky introducing me to people in Fremont.
Fremont High School, back then when I was attending there with Bernard, it was very diverse. I believe we had a lot of time together to really build the small schools, which I attended the Media Academy, with a lot of different students that came from troubled childhood stories. We all really connected with all the different hardships and learned a lot from each other. I felt the most connected at that point of my life with a lot of my friends, and Bernard was one of them.
Like, there was buzz talking about who is this sophomore in the varsity team getting interceptions, like unheard of. So that's actually one of the vivid points that I remember when I first started meeting Bernard. And I remember what I kind of saw was like, Bernard, I was like, I think he's in my class.
My dad was going through a divorce with Monte and Michael's mom, and I didn't hear from my dad for like a couple years or so. Midway through my 11th grade year, I got a phone call from Susanna, one of my best friends.
The first 5 months of dealing with that, maybe 6 months, I was probably like in what you call like a cloudy state, meaning like I didn't, like everything, I was just walking on fog. Like imagine just being on a bad high forever for like 6 months straight, and then I went through depression and a whole lot of other shit after that. And that's why I said I went to the streets really hard, because I was just in a really fucked up mind state. And and so it kind of bit me really hard, especially because even before he passed away, like I can truly say he was like he was my role model even before that. So it's like it hit me hard, and even to this day, like there'll probably never be a death, maybe besides losing a parent or something like that I ever kind. And even then, it probably wouldn't, because I've become so desensitized towards death since then that it'll probably be nothing that truly affect me the way it did.
Like, I didn't even know Ducky that close, but I know that was his cousin. I know he played football. We talked a little bit. But just seeing how much pain Bernard was in was probably one of the most hardest things I've ever went through with a friend, because I know he was hurting so much, and I'm not good with that type of stuff, so I didn't know what to say to try to make him feel better or just let him know that, it's going to be fine, but other than just being with him. Like, I remember being at the funeral and all of us crying after it ended, and just Bernard actually him and his girlfriend were hugging, and he just like grabbed me, and we were all just hugging each other, just holding each other so close, because that was actually a really devastating time.
That took a huge hit on him, because just having a friend, either one of your best friends that passed away, when you're in high school, you're still an adolescent, you're still learning how to be an adult, going through the motions of school, finding your way in life, and just to see somebody who's you've grown up with pass away.
Around 11th grade, I felt like I had to prove myself, and I wanted to do good, because Ducky always told me that we're going to be guardsmen or we're going to be NFL players. I was so hard on myself because I got hurt, and I was hurt for like a good 4 weeks. I couldn't play football for the rest of that year.
He was on a roll in football, and he was raw. And then he actually had scouts coming in over to talk to him. I remember being in a passing period. I know some dude from some university that came out to check him out. I'm like, damn, he'll be raw by the time he's a senior, because here he is, a sophomore, made it in the varsity team, and now is killing it, getting interceptions and stuff. It's like unheard of.
I was getting a lot of scouts from Washington, a bunch of other colleges, and they wanted to give me a full scholarship, so I had to like maintain my grades. All I had to do was just score good on my SAT, and then I had a good scholarship. We was a happy family for a while until things started to change a little bit. He got comfortable in the house, and then he told me I couldn't eat out the fridge.
Like, I know his mom, we're cool, nothing bad to say, but I know like it wasn't the best growing up experience, so I know he had it really rough, where it was like a point where his girlfriend would also help him out a lot when it came like to making sure he has groceries and making sure he has something to eat, like giving him lunch money to make sure, like, buy a big ass burrito where you eat the first part during the day and the second part of the burrito at night, just to make sure that you don't go hungry. So it was definitely a rough past.
I was in 11th grade once Ducky passed. My mom already kicked out my sister. She was like 17, 18 when she kicked her out. And then once Ducky passed, she told me that she's going to kick me out too. I did the math and stuff. I was like, Mom, I'm only like 17 when I'm going to be a senior. And she was like, well, my mom kicked me out when I was 17. You could do it too. So my 12th grade came around. And then I was playing with the bandana. And I'm winding up with the bandana like this. And I was just playing around, just hitting the air. And Derek was in that vicinity. And I was just playing around and I accidentally hit him. And I was like, oh.
From this moment, he will be her target. He has, in effect, selected himself. It will be a long and energy-sapping chase. The experienced gazelle will sidestep, dodge, and weave past trees in an effort to throw Fundi off.
And got a couple of friends outside too, and then I shook Derek. I hit him like the 1-2 step. He fell on the floor. I guess he scraped his chin and his knee. My mom started laughing. Everybody started laughing, like, oh, Nardi shook you, blah, blah, blah. I came back in the house. He went straight to my mom's room, and I told my mom, sorry, I didn't mean it. And she was like, no, don't worry about it. I know you was just playing. And then the next morning, it was just me, Derek, and my 2 little sisters, I guess. They was in another room or something. And I was walking to my mom's room, and then he tackled me. He was saying like,
"Don't you ever do that again. I'm the man of the house. You have to respect me."
he was choking me while he was saying it. And I was like, "Get off me, blah, 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 get off me." Once he finally got off, then I kneed him in the nuts. And I had like marks on my neck and stuff after that. And then I told my mom what happened. He told my mom that I just walked to the room and I kneed him in the nuts, and then he did the opposite of what really happened. And my mom forgave him, and I was like, "Mom, he just put his hands on me. Why are you letting this dude put his hands on me?" I told my dad, my uncles, my stepbrother. Nobody did anything about it. So and my sister was out. She was already homeless or kicked out by then. And I really didn't have nobody like to stand up for me. So I had to like man up. Like everything he tried to tell me to do, like clean my room or wash the dishes or anything. I'm on the computer too long. And I just kept telling him, "Shut up, you're not my real dad." And I just kept telling him, "Shut up, you're not my real dad." And then while that all was happening, it was my senior year, and I was just mad the whole year of my senior year because all this unfolded, and my mom was telling me she's gonna kick me out on my senior year. So when football came around, I just let all my anger out. I was just hitting people over and over and over and over and over. Like I didn't care if you was on my teammate, I didn't care if you had the ball. I was just hitting people nonstop. And then when I came back from the game and I seen Derek again, he tried to tell me something, and I was like, "Shut up, you're not my dad." And then I started hitting the weights more, and then I wanted to fight him, and then he didn't want to fight me. Because I guess he knew because I was like hitting weights more, and like I started looking a little bit stronger than what I did a couple months before he did that to me. I remember one of my games, I told my mom not to come. It was like homecoming, and she ended up coming, and I was like, I told her, I was like, "Mom, why'd you come? Like you're kicking me out. You're kicking me out. Like this is kind of embarrassing for you to show up." And then she was like, "I don't care, blah, blah, blah." And I remember hugging her on the field, and we had to give her all our parents flowers. And that's the first time I ever gave my mom flowers. And it was like the awkwardest hug that you can witness. And then once graduation came, it was like a week left and I was going to get kicked out. I didn't want to walk the stage because I knew none of my family was going to be there.